Hey audience, welcome to part 2 of Kaiserreich lore. So when we left off, Germany utterly defeated the Entente powers, forcing them to sign the peace with honor. Like I mentioned in the last video, in 1919 a huge workers' strike erupted across France. Basically what happens is after the ceasefire with the Germans, everything goes to shit and a civil war erupts between the newly formed provisional government and the communist revolutionaries. The communists come out on top, and after winning they formalize peace with Germany, ceding Lorraine. The remnants from the provisional government end up escaping to the French colonies and form a government in exile, excluding all the, natives of the colonies. Unfortunately for the Reds, that luck was not continued in Russia. In 1919, the Whites capture Sarsian and Saratov, uniting the two White fronts. The two governments meet to negotiate a union of themselves, and it's decided Alexander Kolchak will remain supreme commander of the White military forces, with Sergei Sazonov as prime minister. Also, they agree to cut ties with the Entente. While all this is happening, a former Russian general flees to Mongolia and takes the capital and declares himself supreme ruler. Also, he thinks he's Genghis Khan. So yeah, that happens. By 1920, Moscow is finally taken by the Whites and the Reds surrender. Meanwhile in Italy, civil war erupts, with the Republic of Italy being proclaimed by the nationalists, and soon after a socialist republic being proclaimed in Torino. The Austrians tried to suppress the conflict, but being Austria-Hungary, they weren't really able to do much. The Italian Civil War rages for a while, and due to the socialists not wanting a full-scale war with Austria, the SRI stops their offensives. At this point, Italy is effectively divided into a bunch of small states. Over in the British Isles, Ireland is granted independence from British rule on the 1st of January 1922, after 5 long years of war. Back in Russia, due to a complicated coup, Alexander Kolchak is crowned dictator, and then is quickly ousted where he flees to Japan, who install him as a leader of a small rump state called Transmir in eastern Russia. With all that going on, the Cossacks kinda just sorta secede from Russia and establish the Don-Kuban Union. While all of this is happening, Britain kinda just watches from their island in a new splendid isolation, until a coal strike turned ugly topples the government, forcing Parliament and the royal family to flee to Canada. Ireland also seizes Ulster in the chaos. In fact, everyone from Spain to Egypt kinda just seizes British overseas possessions. In India, the Raj begins to collapse into anarchy, and is only able to keep control of the northwest of the subcontinent, while a syndicalist government takes the east. The princes of the south form their own state. Australia also takes advantage of the chaos and annexes New Zealand under the pretense of resource preservation. Unfortunately for them, they still lose the Emo War just like in our timeline.
Wake me up inside. Save me!
The exiled British government kinda just takes over the Canadian government. Not everyone is happy about that. In China, Zhu Xicheng becomes president of the Chinese Republic. He immediately asks the German for help in restoring order, which they accept, just Zhu has to put Puyi in the throne. This of course ends in a peaceful manner. Just kidding, this is Kaiserreich. So of course civil war erupts. German intervention in 1926 restores Puyi to emperor, but Germany is given full economic control of the south of China. In Romania in 1927, King Ferdinand dies and is succeeded by his son Michael. The military jumps on this and effectively takes control of the country, since Michael is, a kid. In America, due to rising class tensions, the Socialist Party begins to gain popularity and seats in the Senate. Another rising star, Huey Long, who I made a video about that you should totally go watch, loses a Democratic nomination in 1932 and gets salty and forms the America First Party. Basically, his platform can be summed up as, share our wealth, but it's totally not socialism. And before you ask, he wasn't assassinated like in our timeline, probably because Cornelius Chapman really did take the bullet for him. Down in South America, Argentina realizes that they want a big empire, so they start a big war with all their neighbors. And actually win. They annex Paraguay and Uruguay and form the Federation of La Plata. So okay, remember in the first part where I said discount Nazis may or may not take control of Romania? Yeah, well in 1935, the Iron Guard ousts the king and the military government. Their leader, Cornelia Zaila, I'm not sure if that's right because I don't speak Romanian, becomes a new leader. Now, it's 1936 and the German Empire is beginning to experience growing pains, and many fear a market crash is imminent. Not to mention the syndicalist nations to the west are beginning to rearm themselves. Many fear a second Weltkrieg is imminent. On top of that, the Entente has also been biding their time and are looking to reclaim their respective homelands. Conflict is also brewing in America. The upcoming election of 1936 between syndicalist Jack Reed, populist Huey Long, Republican Charles Curtis, and Democrat John Garner. The political climate, which makes 2016 look tame, leads many to fear a second civil war is also imminent. What happens next? Well, you gotta play the game, which can be found in the Steam Workshop for Hearts of Iron 4, to find out because the official canon ends in 1935. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this.